Welcome back to the View from the Rock podcast. This is our part 2 where we're going to get into our beer of the week and talk about Arnold. First of all, our beer of the week is from Top Down Brewing in Sumner, Washington, and we're having the Cottonwood IPA, which is a seasonal American IPA. It is Jason's sister, Holly, and sister-in-law Megan's favorite watering hole. Did I say that right? I was trying to reword that. The owners are Chad Cray and Greg Bird, and the Top Down's Cottonwood IPA, 77 IBUs, which we found out in a previous podcast was a international bitterness unit, is leaning more towards the hoppier side. Oh no, not. Oh, sorry. I was overstepping where I was gonna go, and
we're gonna try the beer now, and then
that's my bad. I was getting away. I was just reading.
So, Mr. Morgenthaler, you came in with some Cottonwood IPA, and it looked like it was in a giant can.
Yeah, that was a giant can, almost like a growler,
but not quite a growler.
So, according to my sister and Megan, it's a half growler.
What is a half growler?
I don't know. Ruck knows the name.
I think we normally call that a crowler.
A crowler.
It's almost like you've taken can and growler and put them into one word.
So, is that 32 ounces?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's also a portmanteau, if I'm not mistaken.
I was going to ask you, is that an example of portmanteau?
I love a good portmanteau.
I do too.
I'm actually trying to think of some other examples now.
Can you give me an example of a portmanteau?
So
brunch.
A portmanteau is a word made when you blend two words. I think brunch is a great example. I think another great example would be breathalyzer.
Okay.
Yeah. Or what do you think about the term, as another example of portmanteau, bromance?
No, definitely. Your bro in romance.
Even
what about
hangry?
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think these are all good examples of portmanteaux. And here on The View from
hungry and angry?
Hangry.
Yeah, that's my wife 3 days a week.
So I'll say I haven't looked up how to spell this. I assume Swap has because you're looking at some stuff right now. But do you know how to spell this, Jason?
The word again?
Portmanteau.
Portmanteau.
So I might phonetically spell it?
I think if you spell it phonetically, you have a chance.
Ish.
But the end gets a little weird.
Okay, so P-O-R-T.
So far, so good.
Very good.
M-A-N.
Yes.
T-O-T. Correct?
Portmanteau?
No, T.
That was a good guess.
No, I'm not done.
Okay.
T.
Yeah. And then you said O.
Okay, I'm done. I'm not doing O.
Oh, what? After we started shaking our heads,
I was going to do. I was.
Okay.
Something with a W.
Oh.
On the end.
Portmanteau. I believe it's spelled Portmanteau, but I'm not sure if there's an X.
So there's
at
no
the end of
T.
That. Is there an X?
No, it's a T.
Oh, T-E-U-X?
T-E-A-U at the end. It's a French word describing a two-part suitcase. It combines the word port, which means to carry, and manteau, meaning cloak.
If you would have said French, I would have done the no T. And
Like
maybe
the
an
suitcase.
A-U-X.
Like the suitcase, a portmanteau word holds or carries the meaning of two or more words.
That's beautiful. I love English.
Let's get back to our beer.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I'm gonna
Okay,
take a
so
taste here.
start tasting it. Tell me what you think. And if you can taste... Do you taste any of the grapefruit flavors?
Yeah.
I feel like you get some pininess.
Okay.
Yeah. Agree with that. You know, when I really slap it around in my mouth, kind of breaks it apart. I don't know if that's the
Oh, you can say that, but I can't say shit.
You know, you kind of press the beer up into the roof of your mouth with your tongue.
All right.
It's good. It's clean.
That's a
clean.
great seasonal because I don't like a hazy. And my sister's like, hey, I'm like, what's the seasonal? Is it hazy? She goes, no. I said, okay, I'm in.
What's the ABV on that?
So it's 77
IBU.
or
But,
IBU.
7.1.
No, it's 7.1.
Okay.
And it's leaning more towards the hoppier side. Clean bittering. It's a wood, earthy, floral,
Yeah.
and grapefruit flavors from the hops and
What
the
would
malt
you-
profile.
What would you? This is definitely a seasonal, and this is a great summer IPA.
Dude, it's amazing.
What do you think you would have this with in a perfect world, 4 in the afternoon on an 80-degree day in Anacortes? What would you have with the Cottonwood IPA?
Like to
I
eat?
think I would have a nice charcuterie board.
Wait, a what?
A board with meats and cheeses. I mean,
get
even
another
I might
French word
even
there.
well, I might even do like our from Hawaii, like our Portuguese sausage.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Linguiça?
It's a little. It's not linguiça.
Really?
No, so we have Portuguese sausage from Hawaii. I'll give you one when you leave. So that's what we put in our fried rice.
Okay.
So it's not a linguiça. It's more of a fattier, but it's sweet a little bit. And you get it from Hawaii. So that's how we did the fried rice. So we can get it. We can't get it here now. We used to get it for a limited time at Costco.
So when you put that in your fried rice, do you cut it into little medallions?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's
Still haven't tried that fried rice.
okay. So I know. So I'm going to give you a couple Portuguese sausages tonight. And I'm actually bringing those tomorrow to the 4th of July parties. Just freshly cooked.
So do you put those between a bun?
No, it's more of a poo-poo platter. Do you know what a poo-poo platter is, Ruck?
No.
A poo-poo platter is an appetizer platter in Hawaii.
Oh.
They call them poo-poos.
And what is
So
on a
when
poo-poo
you
platter?
say, when you're like, would you like an appetizer? When you go there, they say, they look at you funny. You mean a poo-poo platter? So poo-poos are appetizers.
And so you would just have them be medallions
So
with
we
little...
no, like if we're doing it for a platter, you just cut them like maybe 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and
toothpick
they're
in it?
probably maybe 12 to 14 inches long, and you just cut them up, fry them.
Tightly cased.
Yep, and then just a little toothpick.
Nice. Sounds awesome.
Hot mustard.
Oh yeah,
I love sweet hot mustard.
I do too. I love, greatest mustard manufacturer out there right now. Beaver mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the...
gotta love a good beaver mustard.
Oh my gosh.
Is that the name of it? Because
Yeah.
there's the beaver on it.
Yeah.
And I never remember what the actual
No,
name is.
beaver mustard has infinitely many varieties.
Hey, real quick, back on the beer. What do you guys think?
I think it's
For
a great.
a seasonal
Yeah.
IPA, like that's one of the best seasonals I've ever had.
Well, when you look
Because
at
it's
it,
always hazy. They're always hazy.
yeah, and look at this. It's beautiful. It's
Yes.
it's effervescent.
So it was May 20th they came out with it.
Translucent.
It is.
No, it's amazing. It's a great beer. Like I took it. I had to have 2. My sister had 3, but I was driving, so I had 2.
Responsible.
So responsible.
But I looked at Untapped, and according to Top Down, they don't like Untapped. But which is funny. It's just
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, I think some people don't like that app, and I said, "Well, I'm out of the app too, but I just look at it.
I wonder if Untapped is to these people like Yelp is for
Yeah,
places
pretty much.
where all they really get from it is negative.
Correct. And so 4 out of 5, there's only been 2 reviews on Untapped. This beer came out a month ago.
Wow.
So we are tasting Legend beer.
Wow.
I bet that we were the only podcast that has reviewed this beer.
Correct. And shout out to Top Down Brewery.
Chad and Greg.
Yes. And we'll be reaching out. I'm going to email them and just say thank you.
Also want to mention thank you to our loyal sponsors, Merle Inc. and Sign Dog.
Yeah. Way to fit that in there. Good job. At least once each episode, I feel like. So that brings us to what I have spent a lot of time doing this week, and that is watching Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Right now.
So really, you've spent all week?
No, I didn't say all week. I said a lot of time this week. I watched 2 movies this morning of Arnold.
That you've never seen?
Yes. No, one of them I'd seen, one I hadn't. I just had to go back and remind myself of one of them. I watched Commando this morning at 7 o'clock when I woke up. Never seen it before.
Better than a cup of coffee.
Oh, dude.
Alyssa Milano.
Yeah. And how about, oh my God, dude. When he, that's when he's in his prime, it just absolutely ripped.
Yeah.
But, not Conan ripped as far as, just stupid, way too big, looks awkward.
He still always does.
I mean, but when he started to get a little thinner, but still had the definition, he
And
just
that was
looked like
his
a
daughter.
savage. Right?
So I can't wait.
It's basically
I can't wait till I hear you top 3.
It's basically like Taken, the original Taken, right?
Oh, the original Taken was so
I'm sorry.
good.
They're all good. They're all good.
All Arnold's movies.
No.
You're saying the Liam
the
Neeson
Taken-
Taken?
Oh, yeah.
Liam Neeson
We
is.
need to do top 3 one time of just the top 3 of just movies that have sequels.
So can I just interject
Like all
right
3,
here?
like top 3 Taken's. There's 3 of Taken.
So I was at Merle Inc.'s Sunday night with Mr. Morgenthaler after a long weekend of baseball.
Yes.
Asleep on the couch, 1:30 in the morning.
It wasn't 1:30.
It was 1:30.
No, it wasn't. It was 12:58.
And it wasn't asleep. It was passed out.
No. I looked over and Mr. Morgenthaler was up, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm watching John Wick 4."
On your phone?
No, on the TV.
75-inch TV.
Maybe 80-inch downstairs. And that's the 4th time I've seen it.
Wow.
I took Rowan to the theater with Emmett. It was amazing.
I haven't seen the 4th one yet.
Have you seen all 3?
Yeah.
You've seen one, because one is a great movie.
I've
No,
seen
he's
1, 2,
seen
and
1, 2,
3.
3.
Okay.
So Pat has seen John Wick 1. That's it.
And that's it.
I mean,
They're all good.
they're all good, but if you've seen the first one, then you've seen the second and third.
No, but the 4th is, they're all good.
They're all good, but it's just the same.
But you
it's
haven't
same
seen the
thing.
4th.
True. Yeah.
Different story.
So you were saying that we need to do a top 3 that is the top 3 movie franchises or
Yes.
the top 3 sequels?
No, the top 3 that have had sequels or 1, 2, 3.
'Cause, are we-
Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've had 7.
So we're not just
It's
judging
not just top 3.
The Bourne movies.
Yeah, the Bournes or
the Harry Potters.
yeah. That's
Star Wars.
I guarantee you.
No,
that's gonna be
those movies are
but
not very good.
Fast and the Furious.
Oh, there's some people who love those movies.
Oh, I love them. I love them all.
You know who loves the Fast and the Furious movies that we work with that you'd be surprised by? Someone that Mr. Swap is related to.
Guzik?
Guzik.
Really? He loved. No
Guzik,
way. He loves
Sam
Fast
and
the
Jesse
Furious?
love Fast and the Furious. They went and saw Fast and the Furious X in the theaters.
You're kidding
During
me.
COVID, they watched every single one of them. They were at home.
I watched Fast and
through
the
'em.
Furious.
Wow.
Yeah.
I watched the first Fast and the Furious every year. Downstairs.
It's so good.
Turn it up loud.
One of the guys in the movie, isn't it Jesse? He's from Mount Vernon, right?
Correct. So, real quick story.
Oh, perfect.
I'm coaching with Gabby that first year with Nate, and we're sitting at after a Mount Vernon tournament, and we're sitting at Fred Meyer in Mount Vernon, and he walks in, and I'm like, "Hey, do you know who that is?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "He is the original guy from Fast and the Furious." So Gabby walks up. She's the only one that's not afraid, and he's like, "Yes, that's true," and gets a photo. And then I hand her a $50 bill. I'm like, "Hey, yeah, you're the winner."
I'll be damned.
Dang.
Because he's Mount Vernon.
I don't remember his name in real life.
Chad Lindbergh,
Yes.
also in the Bench Warmers.
He's been in a few different things. He's good. Well, let's get into our Arnold movies. There's so many Arnold movies that you just forget about, I feel like. And there are still some I didn't end up getting to watch during this week that I was trying to fit them all in.
So, real quick,
I was going
though.
to say the reason that we even thought
Yeah.
about this is just that there's the documentary right now on Netflix called Arnold, and it's just fascinating to find out all that information out about him. I mean, you never know what someone's really like, even when they're doing this tell-all documentary. But I mean, legitimately, he seems like he's a pretty good guy. Is like, obviously he's had some womanizing issues, but like he seems like he's a generous guy, that he just like wants to be nice to people and treat them well, which I wasn't expecting to see that.
So, real quick, before this week when we talked about it,
Yeah.
did you have to watch like 3 or 4 of the movies because you've never seen them? Or
Yeah.
because the 80s, you don't watch any of them.
Well, it was I'd already seen more of his oeuvre of movies, but it's easier, instead of going with a scary movie category, I couldn't possibly watch all of it.
Right.
But when you focus on Arnold, I can pretty easily at least plow through his top 5 movies if I haven't seen something in his top 5. So that was helpful to me, being the person.
So, did that give you a different perspective
Um,
on your top 3?
remembering some of his action movies, it pushed for me some of the more lighthearted films of his out, I would say, because his action movies are just so good. Like, he has this innate ability to weave these corny one-liners in there that are just hilarious. Like this morning at 8:30, I'm laughing on the couch because of how stupid the things are that they're saying in Commando, but like, they're perfect. Like, if you didn't have all the funny things that he says in there, it would just be a weird, super violent movie that doesn't have a story to it.
Yeah. And do you remember The Simpsons had the action character that was kind of weaving through multiple episodes, McBain?
I'm not a Simpsons guy.
So 92, 93?
Yeah. And McBain was kind of loosely based on kind of the Arnold persona, where McBain would have these stupid one-liners in an action movie that the Simpsons were watching. And that's kind of become a formula for these action movies, is that real monotone one-liner.
Well, and it was something that I realized when I watched the documentary, and then when I watched some of these movies, that like people needed to write a script for him that would fit with what he did well. If they're going to have him do tons of talking, probably is not going to be the best, but if they could fit in these one-liners that only he can pull off, like, that's a script for him, and he'll do that well.
Yeah.
So when you saw the documentary, 3 parts,
Yeah.
did you say, okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the part 2 when all of his movies came out and say, I have not seen whatever movies?
Well, yeah. So as they started to talk about some of them, I realized how many I hadn't seen, one of which is Conan. But I tried to watch that, and I found it like almost unwatchable.
Okay. So what did you watch that you have not seen before the documentary?
Commando.
Okay.
most of them I'd actually seen that, I took the time to watch. That were
Running Man.
That was one I couldn't get. I was trying to, that one, and then, well, I don't want to give too many away right now because we're going to go our top three. But it was actually, there was I kind of ran up against an issue where some of the movies, like I would have paid for them and rented them like I did with Commando, but some of them I literally couldn't find anywhere to stream. I would have had to have bought the DVD or Blu-ray or whatever.
Well, I have a couple of them.
I probably should have asked because Running Man. It sounded like a super cool movie.
So Running Man is my number 3.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
So tell us about Running Man.
So I believe it was made in the mid to late 80s, and it takes place maybe 30 years in the future, which makes it, prior to now in movie time.
Yeah.
Dystopian society, and the Running Man is like a reality show where hired killers are trying to kill the Running Man. And so they get Arnold, and his character is in the Running Man. And the host of the show, Richard Dawson,
Is from
Family Feud.
Yes.
Oh, what?
Yes. So Arnold,
like
you know
Squid
what? I
Games,
didn't think
essentially.
about that until right now. Actually,
it's a great.
Oh, it is.
It's a great. I mean, when you hear that plot,
but
don't
it's
you
like
just think
1986?
somewhere in there?
yeah.
So it's like if you watch it now, it seems a little dated, but it was still like that plot.
I mean, Squid Games, one of the most popular things
Yeah.
recently on Netflix. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah,
What's that?
Squid Games. You've never seen Squid Games?
I have not.
and you talked about the Arnold one-liners. So in this one, Richard Dawson, who is like the host of American game shows.
Does he hug a lot of women in the movie?
No.
Not in the movie, but in real
He
life,
hugs
yes.
a lot of people, and
And do you remember this, Morgie, where he said Arnold? He's about to launch Arnold into the game, and Arnold says, "I'll be back."
yeah,
And
He says that?
yes. And Richard Dawson says, "Only in a rerun."
yeah, oh yeah.
So does
No, I mean it's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It is. It's like a good fun. Like it would be fun, Rock, to watch those
Yeah. Oh,
in the basement.
absolutely. Anytime. So he says, "I'll be back there," because that's a famous line from Terminator.
Yeah,
And you know what? I noticed it this morning when I was watching Commando. He says, "I'll be back" in that movie as well. Is it? Does he say that in all of his movies?
and Richard Dawson, half drunk, being the Richard Dawson he is, just looks right at him and says, "Only in a rerun."
That's so perfect.
But just seeing those scenes
Yeah.
of that movie when they go through the tube and then come out and they're trying to they're surviving. That's a great movie.
It's a really good movie.
Oh, it's amazing. It was close.
So what's your number 3?
Yeah.
So my number 3 is, you guys will not even, I mean, this is like from Arnold's documentary, part 1, Pumping Iron.
I've
Oh,
seen
yeah,
that.
the
It's on
original.
Netflix. It's super good.
No, I mean, it's amazing. So I first saw it in like 1997 with a friend of mine who was older and was starting to get me into lifting weights. And it's amazing to see what he did and then also make fun of all the other guys.
Yeah.
Like,
He's the absolute alpha.
oh, dude. And he would and you're talking about the Incredible Hulk. At that time, Swappy, remember watching the Incredible Hulk?
Oh yeah.
Lou Ferrigno, and he's killing him at bodybuilding. He's like, "Lou, I'm 6-man Mr. Olympia." Like, just killing it all the time. Like, it's crazy. He was awful, actually, to those guys. He was so arrogant. He was so confident. But he was 7-time Mr. Olympia.
Yeah. I mean,
And then those guys were just, trying to do.
well, and Pumping Iron, if you watch the Netflix documentary, it was
Yeah.
kind of a super important moment for him because
It was.
he was getting denied being the leading man for a lot of stuff, and after that, it showed that he had a little more essence to him.
Yeah.
So real quick on that, when you look at Arnold, and you look at like the how the chests of them.
Yeah.
So we had a guy from Pacific. His name was Guy Takahashi. He could hold a pitcher of beer on his chest.
Whoa.
That he was so strong and his chest was so big. And he was amazing. But it was fun, like just seeing him, like seeing a chest that big where it comes up and he would put a pitcher of beer there.
That's wild.
That's like an Arnold type.
I'm not sure if I'd want that.
So, Rock, what's your number 3?
Number 3, and it's tough between 3 and 2 for me. I felt like number 1 was pretty clear. Number 3 was Predator.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Baby.
So, spoiler alert, that's my number 2.
Okay.
So we can.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Predator, 1987. 1 year before 1 year before I was born. Predator. Director was John McTiernan. Written in 1984. They originally called it Hunter. That was the original name for it when they wrote the movie. Cost it $15 million to make, but they grossed $98 million. And the cast in the movie, if you hadn't seen it, you'd be like, "Whoa, hey, that's the guy from Rocky."
Yeah.
Like Apollo Creed, also known as Carl Weathers.
Apollo Creed's in it.
Yep. And then Jesse, the Governor Ventura, and he comes up with some of the best lines in the movie. Oh my gosh.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Yes, that was one. I was watching it this
So
morning.
when's the first time you've ever watched it?
It was a while ago. It was long enough ago that I was actually a little freaked out watching it. Because, I mean, it's brutal.
Because you weren't
and
born
horror.
yet. When
Right.
It was,
I don't remember the first time, but I watched it this morning.
And the creature, when you finally see the predator,
With his face off.
is pretty freaky looking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No. At one point, the lady looks at him and says, or the other guy, "You're hit. You're bleeding." I ain't got time to bleed. Oh, it's so good.
dude,
So
how
good.
does Jesse Ventura go from WWE to all these and then be governor of Wisconsin?
So
It's a wild ride.
we have 2 future governors in that movie.
Oh, wow.
Arnold and Jesse the Body Ventura.
And I feel like Carl Weathers, out of all of them, maybe is the most likely to have become one.
Maybe the best actual candidate
Yeah.
for political office.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking about like why this was my top 3, they do such a good job of like making him look super fierce in that movie. Like he's his most intense, I feel like. He's got a lot of like grit and dirt on him. He's leading this group of
Like special ops.
to defeat these gorillas, and it turns out that like Carl Weathers just totally screwed him over. That he's got him in the middle of this thing, and one by one the Predator starts taking him out. And if you haven't seen it, basically the Predator is like this alien species from another world, which is what alien means, obviously, and like he likes to hunt. Like he's trying to hunt people, and he kind of realizes it because they've got this woman captor of theirs, and he like won't touch her because she's not sport for him. And so it's just at the end, I don't want to spoil it all, but basically he has one of the main features of the Predator is he sees like this like heat vision, so he can see
Yeah.
people's heat signature, and Arnold's able to like foil that. Basically they're trying to get to the choppa, which is one of the lines that comes from this for Arnold. He at one point says to, I think the lady or someone, "Get to the choppa." And so that's become another big line for him.
That's pretty good.
It is. And then his other big line is after at one point they shoot at him, the Predator's left this like glowing green blood on plants. And when they figure that out, Arnold just goes, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Oh, so good. Oh, I love that movie.
My gosh. And that is, it's a good movie.
It's a franchise. There's like 5 movies in it.
And
Well, but that's the original.
the setting is very important. I mean, they film it in this, I don't know where they filmed it, but it's in like a dense jungle.
Yep.
So the way they film it, it's very kind of claustrophobic.
It's almost part of the scary movie genre.
It is.
Hey, and we got, hate to get sidetracked here, tons of feedback on the scary movie genre.
Oh yeah, we have to do some. We'll have to do that on the next podcast.
We're going to have to do like a movie marathon at some point and watch a bunch of these. And maybe that isn't a secret podcast, but it could be a little
But even
fright
just
night.
Rux staying the night over here and watching a couple movies.
Oh, am I invited over?
Oh yeah.
We actually got a text a little bit ago from a loyal listener that said Ruck needs to watch more movies.
Yes.
Like, wait. Did that
In general.
Oh, man. I know that. I mean,
So number 2,
Number 2 for you.
I just changed it because everyone has it. I just feel bad because it was close. There was all these movies that we talked about. So now I'm changing it because I love the movie that you just said.
Predator?
But, yeah. I'm
that
going,
was your number 2?
yeah.
I mean, you can skip it. Your number 1 if you want.
No, it kind of is, but there's like 3 movies that are my number 2.
Okay.
So we've talked about that. I'm going Total Recall.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dang. That's my number 2.
Man. I didn't even think of that
No,
one.
dude. I looked at all these movies and I'm like, oh, dude, that changed. Like when you see him go in and lay down and he's getting like the best experience for like $5,000. His mental he's gonna go there and have fun. Sharon Stone in her prime. Mm-hmm. On a side note, I met her in LAX. And we'll talk about that on the secret podcast.
Somewhere right now, Sharon Stone is saying in a podcast, I met Mr. Morgenthaler at
That's
LAX.
correct.
Absolutely.
At
She's
LAX.
nice looking in the movie.
No, yeah. And said hi to her, and she said hi to me. So she knows me. But Total Recall, like just the whole dynamic of the mental aspect. Where have you seen Total Recall?
It's my number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to talk about it whenever you're done.
Okay. So I changed it because it was going to be the Predator.
Okay.
But it's all like I have 3 of them that are right there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's
Predator,
any wrong choices.
Commando, and Total Recall were just,
Yeah. Commando was close after watching it this morning. If I'd known about it before today or I'd seen it before today, it might have been in.
Oh, it's amazing. And then the guys that are the evil guys. Remember the guy that's the bald guy?
Yeah.
That always, like, he had her, and he's like, don't kill her. He was evil.
The whole genre, they had the best evil guys, and it was just the best time in movies.
It was really easy to hate those guys. So
Total Recall, number 2.
Tell us more.
Well, I don't know if I can say this, but that's the movie that there's a person that has 3 boobs.
Yeah, I forgot about that until I saw it.
And when we're young, that was weird.
Kind of titillating, for lack of a better word.
Hey, more's better.
And then just the whole thing about him.
Maybe.
I was trying to be nice.
Well, titillating is
Titillating.
it's a real word.
Yeah.
Okay, I know. I know it's a real word. I did know that. Rock. I did know. But just like the whole the mental game. And now you start watching some movies and series now where they're doing that same thing. Like they're mentally changing you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. So, this Total Recall was based on a short story from Philip K. Dick, one of the great science fiction writers of our age.
Philip K. Dick?
Yeah.
Is he related to Grady Dick?
No, but one of his great short stories is "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?"
Correct.
Which became Blade Runner.
That is correct. Yeah. So, like, a lot of our famous science fiction stuff has come from him. He's big time. So, like, there was a series in the past on Amazon that was Man in the High Castle. That is Philip K. Dick as well. Minority Report, I believe, is also him.
Minority Report.
And that was supposed to be a sequel originally to Total Recall. And they were going to have Arnold be in it. And it ended up not going that way. And ended up with Tom Cruise and then Spielberg. And then it wasn't a
Tom
sequel
Cruise
to it.
is better.
Well, whatever.
Tom Cruise is never better than Arnold.
Well, you know what? He's better at Minority Report than
Tom Cruise could fit in a duffel bag that Arnold Schwarzenegger uses to board a
Oh,
plane.
my God.
So, yeah, the short story was called We Can Remember It For You Wholesale.
That's right.
Yep. And basically, it's like Douglas Quaid, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, he's having these like dreams that he is on Mars with his wife. And so he's trying to fulfill his dreams, and he goes to, I forget what they call. Oh, Recall is the name of the place where he's going to get these memories implanted into himself to have this amazing adventure on Mars. And the last little bit after they say, oh, you could go to all these planets. And he's like, no, I'm going to Mars. And the guy's like, fine, like 900 credits. Let's do it. He's like, you could be someone else. You could be a spy, a secret agent. And he's like, that's what I want to do. Done. And so he gets these memories implanted, and he ends up realizing that's actually what he is. He's a secret agent from Mars, and he's trying to take down this like shadow organization that's actually running the government there through this dictator.
So the dictator
Yeah.
at the show, Swappy, you know him too. He's like a bald guy.
Yeah.
He's been in a lot of shows.
All the bad guys
Yeah.
are bald.
Well, I couldn't figure out what else I'd seen him in, but I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, he's
I should have looked that up. So there's a couple parts that were awesome. So one is they're going up an elevator, and he's holding the bad guy by the arms, and the elevator rips his arms off, and Arnold's left with his arms in his hand, and he throws him down the chute after him, and he goes, "I'll see you at the party, Richter."
how about when they're drilling through the bottom of the secret area
Yeah.
with all the people that are
Martians?
maybe different legs. They have all that, but when at the bottom of it's about ready to blow up.
Okay. I don't know if I totally remember this part, or I don't remember the details of it very well.
He's hiding. Arnold is
Yeah.
in the movie.
Okay. What happens?
No, in the bottom, like they're in the depths of Mars,
Okay.
and they meet all the people that have been living there.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So just him trying to make it out.
Like he's trying to escape?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to escape. So
But just meeting all those people that have lived there, and then the oxygen shuts down.
right. So there's another part where we're talking about Sharon Stone. Arnold kills her. They're married, and she's trying to kill this, like, I think she's actually a prostitute, who Arnold ends up, like, they're working together to overthrow the government, and Sharon Stone as Arnold wakes up, pulls his gun on her, and she's like, "Oh, honey, like you wouldn't do that. Like we're married. Like no way." And as she starts to pull her gun out, he just shoots her right in the head. And she's just reminded him they're married, and he goes, "Consider that a divorce."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
man.
No, I mean, I know exactly that
Oh
part.
my gosh.
So
Hey,
when
So before we do our number one, should we talk about some honorable mention?
Oh yeah.
So
do we already know what's our number
I
one?
think we probably all have the same number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So honorable mention, Conan.
Yeah.
Remember,
So that's what, 83?
oh man, Grace Jones.
So I watched it once.
Wilt Chamberlain was in it.
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Yes.
He's huge.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
Kindergarten Cop.
I love that movie. It could have made my
Tara
top
thinks
three.
that's her number one.
Oh
been.
my God.
Tara Starkovich says Kindergarten Cops are number one.
But like
Tara.
that's the movie where
Get off.
that's the movie where he's in front of the class and he goes, "Tell me about your parents and what they do." And then they say something and they don't understand it. And then someone says something about something being a tumor. And that's when he goes,
That's
"It's not a
okay.
tumor."
And that's Rock when he was 9.
Yeah.
True Lies.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
was one of the movies I couldn't stream. I've never seen it and I couldn't watch it.
And Jamie Lee Curtis.
Awesome.
They both, I think, were spies.
Yeah.
And
They
didn't know it?
didn't know that the other one was a spy.
Yes. And then they finally at the end get it and they're like, "Oh my God, you're
So
And I'm like, Jamie Lee Curtis, you're married to Schwarzenegger. How do you not know he's a spy?
well, so like, isn't she cheating on him? And he goes to figure out like who's the guy that's cheating on her
maybe,
with him, and then ends up discovering this like plot that he has to overthrow. So Commando, we've already talked about.
Last Action Hero."
Yeah.
Haven't seen it, but that's one of those ones that was super
Supposedly
mixed.
it's really good.
Have you seen it?
No. Well, I have. But
Long time ago.
25 years
Yeah.
ago.
How about Twins
That was
Twins.
one I wanted to see too.
with DeVito?
Yeah.
How was that?
Red-
Have you seen it?
Well, it's kind of a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're not twins.
Because when you think about like Arnold movies,
Yeah.
I don't think about Twins, these Kindergarten Cop. I want like Terminator. I want Running Man. I want all those Commando.
yeah.
Because that's what he was. Like, he was a monster.
So what's our number one?
Well,
real quick,
I have a question
Red
too.
Heat.
I was going to ask you about that. That was one that came up, and it sounded
So
like an
Red
interesting
Heat
plot.
is a good movie.
Not
Like
our
he-
number one, but Red Heat. Is that with Bridget Nielsen?
Yes.
Oh,
Like he's like a
just,
Russian spy, maybe.
Can I just go from Bridget Nielsen to one of the best Stallone movies? And we need to do top 3 Stallone movies.
That's true. That's true.
Super underrated movie that sucked but was awesome at the same time. Cobra.
Oh, yes. And he's got the toothpick.
I haven't
Yes.
seen Cobra. I'll have to watch it.
Do yourself a favor and watch Cobra.
Cobra's good.
So there was another movie, and I don't know if it was Raw Deal or there was one, or maybe it was Red Heat.
Oh, Raw Deal,
where
maybe?
he's with Jim Belushi.
Raw Deal, maybe?
Was that it?
Yeah.
That looked interesting. And
But
then
Red Heat, yeah.
he made the most amount of money, I believe, with his Batman and Robin, like Mr.
Really?
Freeze appearance. He made like $30 million for that.
So
movie.
I looked. I didn't even put that
Those
on
are
there.
stupid.
But all
Well,
the
yeah,
no, that's
not good.
stupid.
But
No.
like, he
you
made
know
a ton
what?
of money.
That gets an F.
yeah.
0.
Hey, Mr. Moore, we get F.
So what's our number one?
For me, it's Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
Yours is Terminator 2.
2. Your guys,
Keep talking.
your guys, I assume must be something different. I'm assuming you must be going to the first one.
Terminator
So,
1.
I mean,
Terminator 1,
Yeah.
because it didn't happen unless you had that, baby. I mean, Terminator 1 is amazing. Talk about Terminator 2.
Okay, so Terminator 2. It almost wasn't gonna be made. It was a film that they weren't sure would happen because I think there were some issues with the studios and funding it. And so when they finally got it approved and said, hey, we're going to make this, I think it was, they were going to actually use John McTiernan from the previous movie I had mentioned, which was Predator. And they were going to have him make it with a different studio. The studio goes bankrupt and they end up allowing the studio that Arnold had worked with previously to like take it over. And so James Cameron then gets brought back in, who made the original. Like it was going to be made without James Cameron, the second one. And he gets it and has to write it, film it, and edit it in 1 year. So he doesn't even have a script, and they do it. There's so many amazing parts of just how it was made. But like just technologically even, like the guy who ends up being the bad guy, which is not Arnold in this case. In the first one, Arnold's the bad guy. He's like liquid metal, and they weren't sure that they could do that. But originally when James Cameron made The Abyss, they had like this liquid creature going into their submarine that they're in. And that was how they knew that they could do it.
But the guy that was that guy,
Yeah.
he was in Copland,
Yeah.
Swappy, Copland. So
guy by the name of-
according to the Oregon buddies, they think that the Cortez is Copland because me and you get to do whatever we want.
So his name is Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick, and he was in Copland. He was in Die Hard 2.
Yes.
He was in Charlie's Angels, the
And
reboot.
Dude, he was so scary.
He did. He was a guy
He was
that...
good. Like,
Okay, so
remember
just
the elevator
Yeah.
when he?
So the opening scene, it just shows you how. So like whenever.
So I haven't
Arnold-
watched this movie. Sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but it's been 35 years.
Yep.
Was the opening scene the kid riding on the bike trying to get away from...
No.
No, when he goes
That's a little further
Okay.
into
in the
it.
show.
So the opening scene, it kind of sets the stage for just how amazing James Cameron is as a director and how Arnold's best movies are always with him. In the opening scene, Arnold like appears in this magical ball, and instead of just having that appear out of nowhere, it appears right between these semis, and it like shears off part of the semi, just like into smithereens. And you're looking and you're like, wow, part of this semi has been like cut away. He walks into this biker bar and just walks up to the biggest dude there and says, I need your clothes and your boots. And the guy puts out his cigar right in his chest. And then it's on. And everybody's going at him, stabbing him, all this kind of stuff. He eventually goes in the back room. He tries to pull a gun. He just rips it out of his hand. And the guy's like, here, take everything. So he gets out to the bike. And then the owner of the bar comes out with his shotgun, shoots one in the air and goes, you're going to need to get off the bike. And he just slowly turns around, walks up to it, rips it out of his hand, and then takes his sunglasses and puts them on and leaves. And the key part about that is he doesn't kill anybody.
But see, that's the deal. So number 2, he's not killing anyone.
Because he's a good guy.
Yeah,
he's a
he's
good
trying
guy.
to save.
Yeah.
Whereas in the very opening scene, the ball of light appears with now the bad guy, and he stands up and he looks around, he hides. This police officer comes looking for him, and he immediately kills him with his like liquid metal arm that jabs through him and takes all of his stuff. So within the first like 10 minutes of the show, we see bad guy, good guy, sets the stage. Like,
So what-
it was amazing.
So what year was 2?
92, I believe.
Okay, because number 1 was like 85.
86. Yeah. Hey, can I go special shout out to the song from Terminator 2, You Could Be Mine?
Oh yeah,
Guns N' Roses.
Oh yeah, baby.
And it was off the...
When they're riding the motorcycle.
So they're...
And her mom, I mean, imagine the mom in a halfway house
Yeah.
and then seeing him coming, and she thinks he's going to kill her.
Do you remember how ripped Linda Hamilton was?
Oh yeah, and he's married. You know who she's married to?
James Cameron, isn't she?
Yeah,
Well, I'll say Linda Hamilton got ripped just for that. She went through real life weapons training with an Israeli commando called Uzi Gal. Not making that up. 3 hours a day, 6 days a week for 13 weeks. She learned judo, became an ace marksman, and learned how to pick locks. Fact. She is just ripped in that movie.
I had no idea that Arnold movies were going to take us down this rabbit hole.
Well, hey, and Arnold 2, the son.
Edward Furlong.
Yeah. He's not doing well.
Oh,
In
the
real
guy
life?
who plays John Connor?
Didn't he die?
Well, okay, so this brings me to kind of the
John
final
Connor.
thing that I wanted to mention in T2 is that Edward Furlong was actually just a random kid at the Pasadena Boys Club who was like, helping these kids who were like on tough times. And they originally wanted this kid that we would all recognize, but he was doing a different movie. And so they were like, we need a kid who's streetwise. And so they just picked this random kid out of the club, and he is John Connor. Oh man, a little special guest appearance.
We
maybe?
only got like 20 minutes, bud.
We got a special guest appearance who's
Yeah.
trying to get us
Let's
out of
get-
us out of
come
our
on.
podcast.
Get down here.
I mean, it's all set up if you want to join us.
All you got to do is put on a set of headphones.
Just walk behind here. Don't worry, we can edit all this out.
Good. Nobody wants to listen to me.
Well, you were on there. Sit down.
Put those headphones on. You can at least listen. Hand me that beer.
But just know if you speak into that microphone.
Actually, you should test it just so we know. We're talking about our top Arnold movies. Would you like to tell us about your top Arnold movies?
No.
It's working.
Let's go. Hey, what's your number one Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Wait, hold up. Before we get into this, we just had someone walk into the middle of our set and put something really important in the middle of our set here at Yellow Dog Studios. And that was Andy Morgenthaler. Second guest, unexpected guest, Andy Morgenthaler. Before you before the rest of the guys go, what is your number one Arnold movie? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Have you seen the documentary on Netflix, first of all?
No.
Get closer to the mic, please.
No, I have not.
Even closer would be good.
There you go.
There's a struggle.
So the other Mr. Morgenthaler just came in and dropped a handle
Yeah.
of Evan Williams right in the middle of the Yellow Dog studio. Can we say that?
Yes.
Okay.
I think maybe a birthday gift from last week. Uncle Andy is a legend in the Yellow Dog Studios. He's been here forever, but not been here. First time.
I have no idea what that just meant.
Yeah. It's provocative.
So,
All right, let's get this train back on the tracks.
Okay, so,
Andy,
hey.
if you don't want to talk,
our
and tell
number
us that
one.
stuff, that's
Well, we
good.
have to do our number one.
So
I
our
was gonna
number
say,
one,
feel free to comment.
the original Terminator.
yes. 100%.
I don't even know what we need to say about it that hasn't been said.
I
Like
mean,
1995 or
85?
85, 84. Just scary.
You just listed a number of years.
I know.
It is 1984. And it was scary. So Arnold in that one was the villain. There was a guy played by Michael Biehn
That was trying to help.
trying to help her.
Yes.
And she thought he was crazy. He was from the future.
That's number one.
Yeah, it's the greatest Arnold movie there was.
Nothing more to say.
wow.
No.
Well, I
But
have,
what about just like when you're sitting there watching the movie and then they have that extra music like, when he's waiting to come get you. What do you call that?
I don't know, but when you did that, I just got chills.
mood music.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Do you remember at the end of that when like they thought he had been destroyed and like his skeletal robotic stuff came out.
Right.
Yeah.
Just dove. There's a couple things that still I think would lead me to say that T2 Judgment Day is better. One of those things is in that movie, the bad guy cop is able to replicate anyone he wants to. He can copy them. Fun fact, all those people that we see that are copies are actually twins. Linda Hamilton has a twin. Did you know that?
No way.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's wild. So they didn't even like do any sort of like special effects like we'd be used to today. They just only did that with people who had twins.
I'll be damned.
And then the other thing, Billy Idol was supposed to be the bad guy in that movie.
He would have been a way better bad guy than
Honestly, he would have been so freaky.
Billy Idol?
not to be confused with Billie Eilish from earlier.
Billy spelled differently in that case.
So we're talking about some bands, Andy, that you're afraid to say that you like because you're embarrassed. Like mine was Backstreet Boys. He was Billie Eilish.
I would just like to say that this is a really tough spot that we're putting Andy in, making this stuff off the top of his
No,
head.
he's doing great.
Do you have anything you want to say, Andy? Make sure you get nice and close to that mic whenever you think of something.
No, hey, he's doing great. So, anything else we want to say about Arnold movies?
I mean, it was basically a genre that he invented. Like,
Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop.
It's not a Tuma.
it's not a Tuma. We were saying that. Kindergarten Cop, I think, is honorable mention. It's one of his top movies.
Astoria, Oregon.
Yep.
Is that where that was filmed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Along with the
And
Goonies.
Holly and Megan are right there right now.
Are they really? Cannon Beach?
Yep.
I had no idea.
I'll be damned.
I can't believe you guys don't like twins.
Oh.
I've never seen it. Is that one of your top movies? You like that?
No.
You just think that they're freaks that
I
they would
just
like
think
that.
that these two would be big fans of twins. Big guy, little guy.
See, Andy, this is what we need, this kind of energy that just makes fun of these guys. I'm not very good at making fun of them. Well, any final comments before I close it out? Andy, Pat, Jason.
Well,
Hey, thanks for cousin Andy to show up late.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
yeah, that was a special highlight tonight.
is.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else?
I would have brought you Jack, but you don't like it.
Oh, all right. I love it.
Alrighty. Well, that's it for another episode from Yeah, do we have something to add?
No, I think Uncle Andy would love a special podcast and like sit here and talk.
Oh,
I think it
yeah.
would be good.
Like,
Oh,
to be
you got
Like
the music
next
coming in.
episode, we're gonna have a special guest, and it's Uncle Andy.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he's prepared for it, he'll be good.
I agree.
What are we going to talk about?
We had some good ideas today, so we'll see if one of those ends up being the top 3 for next week. Which, who knows when next week will be, because we're about to go bye-bye for a while. I'm going to Australia. And
You are?
And Hawaii.
So you've already made the ticket.
You know,
right?
You bought a plane ticket?
There's a lot of issues with that currently that I'll
You
share
didn't
off
buy a
air.
plane ticket.
You're going to,
I'm going. I will
but
be
you
going.
haven't bought a ticket yet.
That's not relevant.
In a week.
Yep.
But you didn't buy a plane ticket.
I don't have plane tickets currently in my possession. Whatever. I'm getting a lot of judgment here. And I think everybody else has got some important things they're doing, going to Lake Pend Oreille, blah, 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 right?
It's Pend Oreille River. It's not Lake Pend Oreille.
Whatever. Who cares?
Lake Pend Oreille
It's not like
is
I've
in
been
wa-
there, so it's a fake place. Fake place. Just lives in your
It's a
imagination.
fake place.
Yeah. Fake news. You're just gaslighting everybody. Alrighty. Well, it's been another excellent episode from the View from the Rock podcast. Don't forget to find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and anywhere else you can listen to your podcast. We'll see you when we see